No matter how bleak the world sometimes seems, you can always rely on the kindness of strangers. Or at least, you can if these folks are anything to go by. They're proof that there's always light in the darkness. From acts as simple as helping an elderly lady with her groceries, to talking someone out of committing suicide, kindness truly does keep the world turning. 20. Supermarket stargazing. At some point, we've all looked up to the stars and wonder at what mysteries the universe holds. Even within our own solar system, there are plenty of incredible sights to see. But without the right equipment and know-how, few of us are able to. So, this guy's offer to help people see Saturn from a Walmart parking lot was wonderfully 19. Janitorification. Gig tickets for major bands can be unbelievably expensive, putting them out of reach of most fans. This school janitor, for instance, simply couldn't afford the astronomical price to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Fortunately, the students at his school had hearts of gold and banded together to purchase his tickets. 18. Vegetable bagging. Not every act of kindness has to be on a grand, unparalleled scale. Indeed, some of them can be as small as helping an elderly woman bag up her vegetables in the grocery store. And that's exactly what this kind soul did, simply out of the goodness of his heart. 17. Coffee for cancer. Think that's way too much coffee for just one person? Well, that's because it's not for this guy at all. It's for the patients and staff at nearby cancer centers. Yes, Dan here apparently buys a cup of joe for everyone down at the clinics, funded entirely from his own wallet. 16. Public power. Picture it, the power's out, and your phone battery is about to die. Well, you could always check to see if your neighbors are as kind as these guys. Yes, as presumably one of the only houses in the area with power, they opened their electricity to the neighborhood. 16. Public power. Picture it, the power's out, and your phone battery is about to die. Well, you could always check to see if your neighbors are as kind as these guys. Yes, as presumably one of the only houses in the area with power, they opened their electricity to the neighborhood. 15. Free water. We're assuming it must be very hot and humid wherever this picture was taken, because these kindly folks are giving back to the community with what is apparently a cooler full of free water. And it's not just friends and family they're offering it to. This water is available to absolutely anyone passing by. That's true generosity. 14. A nursing home visitor. Your elderly years can be lonely, especially once you've outlived your entire immediate family, as Mrs. Posey had at 112 years old. So when this kind stranger brought her homemade cookies, it that made her day, particularly as she hadn't had a visitor in 3 years. 13. A quick-thinking employee. This Wendy's staff member deserves recognition not only for his kindness, but also his improvisation skills. Yes, that is an outdoor table parasol he's using to escort an elderly customer to their car in the pouring rain. And we bet they appreciated it just as much as we enjoyed seeing it. 12. A considerate staff member. It's not just Wendy's staff who are happy to go that extra mile for their customers, however. This worker at a Chinese restaurant, for instance, halted the order queue to help an elderly man to his seat. Then, she waited patiently while he slowly decided what to eat, and she even brought his order to him. 11. A toilet paper warning. We've all been there. You head into the stall, sit down and realize far too late that there's no toilet paper left. Whichever hero was in this stall previously, however, has taken care of that by placing the empty tube between the toilet rim and the seat. Thanks to this small act of decency, anyone who followed would notice before it was too late. 10. A thirsty cat. Even cats need to drink, and no less so than when it's stiflingly warm, as it often is in the city of Mecca. So, props to this guy, who scooped water into his hands for this thirsty feline to lap up, in lieu of a cup, bowl or other storage receptacle. It's not just humans who deserve our kindness, after all. 9. The IQ Grandpa. Down at the Children's Health Care of Atlanta, one elderly volunteer is known as the IQ Grandpa because he's been helping comfort infant patients for over a decade. Yes, David here is clearly full of unending compassion and kindness, devoting his time to those who need it most, even if they can't say thanks. 8. A volunteer chef. This guy has his own YouTube channel where he frequently cooks up mammoth portions of food. But in one video from 2017, he prepared hundreds of pieces of KFC-style popcorn chicken, and gave it all to needy children and the homeless. Indeed, he's clearly generous with his time and skills. 7. This barber's service. Sometimes, business owners go above and beyond for their customers. Take this barber, for instance, who not only charged this elderly guy half the usual price, but he also helped him get back to his car. That's a level of customer service we would certainly go back for. 6. Selfless Syrian refugee. In the face of negative global rhetoric against immigration, this Syrian refugee decided he wanted to give something back to the country that had taken him in. So, he stood on this sidewalk and handed out food to homeless citizens in Germany. Really, if anything's going to restore your faith in humanity, it's this. 5. Police generosity. You have probably heard stories of police brutality at one point or another, but these officers brought some honor back to the badge with this selfless gesture. Indeed, they kindly bought lunch for a man with mental difficulties in Louisiana. They even sat and ate with him. 4. First amusement park visit. This is a heartwarming story if ever there was one. This guy was taking a taxi to a theme park in Dubai when he realized his driver had never been to one. So, when they arrived at his destination, he asked the driver to join him. He even paid for his entry to the park. 3. A sparrow savior. This isn't just someone taking their pet down to their local coffee shop. No, this selfless guy found this poor sparrow in the wild, clearly injured. But instead of leaving it to die, he brought it with him and began looking for local vets who could help. 2. A canine photo shoot. In case you're wondering, there's a good reason why this dog is dressed as Harry Potter. Indeed, it's currently in the middle of a photo shoot at a dog shelter, where it's up for adoption. And the pictures are being taken by kind, selfless volunteers, who are giving up their time to help these poor pups. 1. A police officer talking a man out of suicide. When Kevin Berthia decided to jump off the bridge, Highway Patrol Officer Kevin Briggs spent a full hour talking him out of it. His generosity was rewarded 8 years later, when Berthia presented Briggs with an award from the American Foundation for Suicide. Truly, Briggs' kindness here kept Berthia's world turning.